Turf Today is sponsored by Toro. And did you know that Toro has a full line of work vehicles? Whether you're hauling materials, towing equipment, or shuttling VIPs, Toro has a vehicle for you. Their Workman series is your go-to for power and payload capacity, and the Vista series is perfect for guest transportation. They also have a super comfortable ride. Plus, Toro has tons of options to customize your work vehicles, including all electric models. So check that all out at toro.com.
Hey,
Hey, how are
no,
you?
not too bad. Another week, another hotel room, eh?
Another week, another hotel. You
Love
got it,
it.
man.
Where are you today?
Denver, Colorado.
Ooh,
Denver, Colorado. Yeah. Out here at Castle Pines doing a little pre BMW championship stuff.
that's awesome. One of my favorite states, Colorado. That'd be a state I could move to for sure, easily from Canada. Go
It's
golf and play
it's
hockey in the
beautiful.
same day, or golf and go skiing in the same day. Kind of nice.
It's absolutely beautiful. The climate and altitude's kind of messing with the sinuses a little bit right now, but we'll adapt just in time to go home.
Nice. That's never fun. Never fun. Changing climates is always tough. Going from hot to cold, or yeah, getting into that sticky. It's never good.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful out here. I mean, the golf course is primed. They're ready to go for the championship here, and had a little rain last night, about I think three-quarters of an inch last night, which I don't think they've had rain out here for a long time. So um, that was very well received, and yeah, man, they're rocking and rolling.
Right on. What else you got
Yeah,
going on right now? Just traveling, doing videos?
that's it. Traveling, doing some videos. Here I'm gonna go check out Rodeo Dunes, and my friend Michael Brewer just moved out here a couple months ago. New project outside of Denver. Gonna go reconnect with him, check out that new property. It's just northeast of Denver, I think maybe 45 minutes or so. Go check that out. Come home for a few days, then off to Minneapolis. Got the U.S. Amateur at Hazeltine next week. We
Oh, that'll
go
be a good one.
yeah, it'll be fun. Be a part of that and a couple other projects in the area, and that's about as far ahead as I can think right now. What's up with you? How's the golf course treating you? Back out, enjoying it?
Tomorrow's my first day, actually. So I'm just getting
Nice,
everything together today. Opened up the old box, pulled everything back out that I saved, and yeah, yeah, heading back out there tomorrow.
nice.
Not too sure what's gonna happen, but it's nice to just be out there helping a crew for a few days a week at least, and somewhere to go. I'm not somebody that can work from home. You can't be here all the time. I need to be out doing something, keep my body moving.
Uh,
My mind is much better if my body is active. Like if I'm just sitting around, it's things are not good for me. So I got to keep moving. Definitely looking forward to being out on the course. So I'll let you
Good.
know how things will go. It's been a little bit wet and buggy here, so got to get back into
Oh,
that mode of working outside and just being okay with the elements.
you got some nerves going on, a little anxiousness.
A little bit different this time. Last time I went to a new golf course, I was taking on a big challenge being an assistant. This time, just a little bit different, just more or less just being kind of a worker, being an everyman,
Yeah,
and being able to help with lots of different things. So there'll be some new challenges for sure, and new people to meet and new equipment to play with. I would assume, but a lot of Toro equipment there. It's a really nice course. They got a big budget and stuff, so I'm sure we'll have lots of fun.
awesome. Good for you, man. Excited for you. It'll be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good change. Really good change for everybody. It'll help our schedule out and be good for what we're doing here. Because having me stuck in an office all day is not helping turf today. So
Yeah, a good thing is to come, that's for sure.
yeah, man. So this is a little bit of a different interview for us today. We'll be chatting with somebody a little bit younger in the industry, but I think still be a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah, it sounds just looking at his questionnaire, looks like he's got some nice experience, some fun things potentially ahead for him. So look forward to learning more about him and what's going on and getting a new perspective on things for sure.
100%. Just trying to send it to him here. Darren did quite the questionnaire as well. I see
Oh
his.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's got everything on that website. It's great.
He's got a lot going
That's
on.
the
Yeah, the website's helpful too.
it's so good. Any young assistant or young person in the industry that asks about resumes and stuff like that, I'm like, just go look at Darren Davis's
Yeah.
website. Like it's the best.
Yeah. He's the guy when it comes to that.
Yeah, yeah, very, very good at that.
Derrick, what's going on, man?
Morning. What's happening? Nothing much. Just got
Derrick,
back
how
from
are you?
work. Doing good. How about you?
Outstanding. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
We
Tell
got
us
you on
about the
the
background.
yeah, we got you on the Zoom setup or what's it called, the Twitch setup?
Just my room, and I got my microphone used for gaming, used to record a bunch of videos, and then just some wall decorations. My girlfriend down here. Pretty normal room, and I got my club flags back there. Super old flags.
Sweet.
Little souvenir for when I leave this place.
Yeah, of course.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Where are we
So you
chatting with
gave
you to? Where are we chatting with you from today?
I'm from San Jose. Lived here my whole life. I was with
Yeah,
my
so
parents.
Sharks
Yeah.
fan then, eh? Wow.
No, I don't really watch much hockey, but
Okay.
it's
Don't
very,
blame you. There's not too many Sharks fans out there.
very interesting sport. You just every clip I see of hockey is like two dudes just throwing down their gloves and just going at it.
Yeah, man, you should go check
it's
it
all
out
about the
sometime.
fan engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely should check it out, man. Hockey games, there's nothing like a hockey game in person. It's so much fun. You a gamer then, or what's you do a bunch of, you said videos and stuff. What's going on? You got a great setup.
No, it's just mainly playing video games, but on my free time, mainly it's like right now I'm working on some skydiving stuff and snowboarding. Like mainly my free time is just skydiving, snowboarding, working on my project car or grass.
Holy smokes, you got a lot going on. And taking care of grass at the same time.
Uh,
That's
it's
insane.
all about that grass.
How'd you get into skydiving?
Man, it's like last year. I was just like, screw it, let's do it. And I just said YOLO and I jumped out of a plane and here I am like almost a year later and I'm trying to get my skydiving license right now.
Wow,
How
it's just
many jumps
instantly
do you
hooked.
have?
Right now, like I think 6.
Nice.
And to get your license, it's 25. So I'm still a student until I get 25.
So do you have to have your license to jump solo then, or what?
After you finish, there's like it's called accelerated free fall. After you finish that course, then you can jump solo. And then, but you're still like technically under supervision. But then after 25, then you're good to go. You can do a lot of stuff.
That is wild, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you're still really young, right? Because you just got out of school not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I finished high school when I was 16, and then right after that, I just started off a surf program at Riverside. Met a lot of great people. All the classes were on Zoom, just like this, and met a lot of great people through there. And simultaneously, I was an AIT at San Jose Country Club, and then I moved to La Rinconada Country Club over in Los Gatos. I'm currently the second assistant there, and I finished my classes at Riverside back in like April, I'd want to say, around April.
Wow, so that's pretty fresh then. So you're 16 graduating high school. Were you working at a golf course at the time and knew you wanted to get into the industry, or was it like skydiving? You just decided to say, YOLO, I'm going.
Kind of a mix of both. I started working at San Jose when I was about, I think, 15, and just after a couple months working there, raking bunkers, hand watering, how the high school life goes. And after a couple months of that, I was like, damn, I want to grow grass now. It's like at first I wanted to just like ride machines, see all these cool tractors and sprayers and people on carts just whipping it. That's what I wanted to do. But after I like dipped my toes into that, it opened up a whole new world to agronomy to me. I was like, damn, that's what I want to do. And after that, I was like, let's graduate high school early. Let's go work on this golf course full time. And then I started learning more. And here I am. So I'm 18 right now.
Was it a 2-year program at Riverside?
I think it's supposed to be a 2 year, but mine was only like 1 year because I think the credits are supposed to be enough for 2 years, but I think it's a 1 year thing. Pretty sure.
So it's basically a habit for you now to finish everything up early.
No, no, not good to rush. Not all the time.
Graduate at 16, finish a 2-year program in just over a year. I mean, that's it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
Good for you, man.
and
So
then
what was it what was it then that drew you to it? I mean, you mentioned you just kind of want to get out there and check out all those things. I mean, what was it that really hooked you into this industry?
definitely just learning like on the surface level, right? It's just grass, and you got to keep the grass green. But when you break it down into the sciences, there's so much more with like nutrition, irrigation, and eventually like personnel management. At a point you're not managing grass, you're managing people. That's really I guess where I'm learning most right now. Being in the position I am, I get to manage an entire crew of greenskeepers across 18 holes and learn how to deal with every single one of them and each one of their personality traits and how they work and what they can and can't do. Great learning experience.
Yeah, man. Well, going back to being an AIT, working at the course and taking school at the same time, talk about some of the challenges you had to face, kind of some of the big decisions you had to make to become a second assistant.
Definitely big challenges I had was just trying not to learn too much, trying to pace myself. Like I'm always asking questions, and it's always awesome to ask questions, but at some point there's coming from where I am now, having someone that's always asking questions and always wants to do more super nice. But there's a point where your questions could be more directed. And part of me when I was young, I realized that I was asking a lot of dumb questions. And sometimes there's no dumb questions, and sometimes there's a crap ton of dumb questions. But really, if you have the right superintendent, if you have the right assistants who can foster your learning, then it's amazing to be able to ask all the questions you can. My old superintendent, he was an amazing guy. He always took me around, showed me things, answered all my questions. And eventually, at a point at that club, there were like I think 4, 5 people on management staff for an 18-hole course. Pretty small course, right? And so it's so saturated that one of the sacrifices I really had to make was deciding to move on from my last golf course and go somewhere else. And it was at the point where I wasn't able to learn more because I kind of saturated my roles of responsibility, if that makes sense. You got like people on the crew who at a point they just refuse to teach you more. My irrigation tech, I'm asking him one day, let me dig up some valves, let me go play in the dirt. And he just no, and he's super old guy, old head, right? And as much as we love them, as much as we like to have them around, he just said, no, I don't want to teach you that. And so at a point, you just gotta take it for what it is and move on. Try and find something better for yourself.
So kind of along those lines, I mean, at 18 years old, second assistant responsible for leading a crew, do you run into that all the time where it's maybe tough to get people that are, much older to get them to follow your lead?
Oh yeah, definitely. Big thing is, from the first assistant and every other assistant that's been here, this is a very special crew. Every person on this crew, they've been here for 10, 20, a lot of them over 30 years. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing. Having such a tenured crew means they know everything, but also knowing everything might not mean knowing what you want them to know. Sure, they know where every single sprinkler head is on the course, but do they know how to mow greens correctly? Are they turning in the right place? Are they driving on the right places? And so having such old habits, it's hard to instill new habits to help create sort of a ideal conditions for maintenance. Can't have guys driving all of the fairways all the time when it's tournament time. Things like that.
Kind of a two-way street, right? Because there's a
Right.
lot that you can learn from those guys being there for so long, but at the same time, they need to respect the fact that you are in management and you're trying to do this with your career. So you hope that there's the respect there, but at the same time, trying to be as close with them as you can and learn from them as much as you can. That can be really helpful too.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is it that, in your perspective, what is it that young people are looking for out of their careers in this industry these days?
Hmm. I can definitely say, not for everybody, but for a certain select few, that some people are, they're all about titles, and I feel like that's something that one of my buddies told me about. Is really gonna mess with your head, and that's something that should be avoided because you can have all these titles. You can be first assistant, superintendent, director of grounds, but at the end of the day, it's what you know and what you can do and how well you do it. You play around with titles and the ego just gets straight to your head, right? It's one way of thinking about it. But at the same time, having titles helps develop an organizational structure. So, both sides of the two-headed dragon right there, right?
Yeah, I think so. We talk about it a lot of the time. It's a big decision becoming a first assistant at a big course or taking your first superintendent job. So you got to be ready. It's not
Yeah.
just about making that jump for the title. You got to be ready and make sure it's the right spot for you. We talk about it a lot. So that's great that you're recognizing it right away and trying and help your own career and help yourself out as opposed to just trying to go after the title of superintendent or something like that. So do you see something for yourself? Do you want to be an assistant, like a first assistant? Do you want to be a superintendent? Is that kind of your main end goal right now?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. My main goal is, I guess my mission statement is to pioneer innovation and at the same time maximize efficiency. So using things like technology with like sensors, autonomous equipment, things like that to help the crew move around better, help maximize what they're doing, decreasing wasted labor, but at the same time also being in the mindset that less is more. Something that I believe very adamantly about, like fertility, for example, is that you don't need 1,000 different products to do one thing. When Michael Woods, he published a very quite basic fertility program not too like 2008-ish, and I believe something like that is less is more essentially. But going through less is more, not always fully saturating or meeting certain thresholds for nutritional requirements, but more so believing the SLAN method, right? For example, talking about fertilizers.
So you mentioned mission statement. Is that something you've created for yourself, and then you do annual goals and all that kind of stuff at the beginning of the year?
No, I'm definitely not that organized. It's just trying to innovate and maximize efficiency, keep it simple. But I definitely want to be at the point where I'm running my own operation, creating fertility programs, managing crew, people, and grass. And I hope one day soon, maybe not soon, when I'm ready, if I'll ever be ready, that I'll be in that position.
Right on, man. Well, it sounds like you're definitely on the right path, and you got a good head on your shoulders there. You also did a little volunteering back in January. It looks like the Farmers Open. What was that like for you?
Man, first thing I walked in, coming from someone who's worked at two relatively small golf courses, nothing ranked, right? I just walk in and I see just rows and rows of equipment. Just it's awe-inspiring seeing how much equipment and how big of an operation, how sophisticated something like Torrey Pines or any other ranked course is, and really being able to take away how they run their crew and how they maximize their own efficiency really helped me. Those were some really key takeaways for me to bring back to my own course. Really helped me learn a lot. And also just getting to see different parts of the country, how different people grow grass. They have 100% POA greens down on the north course, which is something that really, like, wow, look at this weather. It's raining we're getting 3 inches of rain on Monday. And other places of the country, like where we are, you just don't see that. And so being able to see both the microclimates of America and even California and the scale of the operation really mind blowing. You know.
How were you able to get a volunteer position at that tournament? Was it relatively easy for you?
Ooh, I actually don't remember how I got a volunteer position, but it was like after they sent out the first couple of emails, it was pretty simple. just hop on a plane, fly over there, and you're at Torrey Pines is pretty simple because they have a hotel on site, part of the golf course. But I know other courses they do like Airbnbs or rents out apartments. So certainly the logistics was on my side pretty easy. Yeah.
You know, they've got a well-oiled machine down there, hosting that event every year. Devin does a really nice job with it. What is that? Was that experience something that kind of got you a little more motivated to keep continuing to pursue this as a profession? And is it something that you aspire to do more of, the golf tournaments, PGA Tour events?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that's like, wow, this is the standard that one of the top courses in California is held to, and it's something that I can look up to and look to for inspiration. And at the same time, hosting tour events is an entirely different beast than just growing green grass on a private course. And so being able to see that side, having all these outside people, having all these grandstands and all these things that only happen when you have a tournament is really something that I found that yes, I do want to do it, but I also feel like I got to get the basics down first. You know, I can't manage a PGA Tour event without knowing how to grow and seed, right? And so working from basics up is definitely something I want to do. And I know a lot of people that have experience and I know a couple of PGA agronomists and they all say it's amazing. They all love it. And I feel like it's something that one day when I'm ready, I could do.
Absolutely, brother. What tournament would you like to do next? If you could pick
Ooh.
one off a list, do you have anything you have your eyes set on, or something you'd love to be a part of?
Um, I personally am not I'm not a golfer. I don't golf myself, but talking from an agronomy side, um, definitely going to Torrey Pines next year again. But some course I would like to get out to would be Oakmont, Marion, Bel Air, seeing what the operations like there. I know Oakmont's got a very special case for their greens, and being able to see that firsthand would be amazing.
Yeah, Brian can tell you all about that. He's been walking those greens lately.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've got a big one next year. Oakmont's hosting the Open in 25. So just saw Mike last week, 2 weeks ago at the junior am. So they're gearing up and ready to roll. That's you keep saying it. I think I've heard you say a couple times. You know, when you're ready. How do you think you're gonna know when you're ready to take that next step?
Genuinely, I don't think I'm gonna know if I'm ever ready, and I don't think many people will. It's just something that you get tossed into the fire, and if you perform, you perform, and if you don't, you gotta perform. It's when I first started spraying, it was a 9 a.m. lady shotgun on all 18 on all 18, and first time spraying fairways, it was just crazy. It just threw me straight into the gauntlet. But at that point, I knew what I had to do, and it's just you sink or you swim. You got to choose one.
Yeah, and you'll know too because you've had lots of mentors along the way. It sounds like you've learned from a lot of great people. So when those decisions do come up and those jobs are offered, you lean on those people and they'll be able to guide you in the right direction. Is there something that you have an idea on with this industry kind of changing? I know we talk to a lot of I don't want to say older people in the industry, maybe more experienced people in the industry that have seen a lot of different things. But with stuff innovating right now, and you looking to have a long-term career in this industry, what are some of the things, or maybe a big thing that you want to see that's going to change?
Definitely automation, whether that be mowers or even irrigation. There's small irrigation company out there called Irrigreen, and they do essentially robotic sprinklers where instead of having sort of an arc, everyone knows our sprinkler arc, right? Everyone knows that instead of having that sprinkler arc, it's sort of more multiple projectile beams that kind of ensure a 100% coverage from one sprinkler head instead of having a head-to-head kind of configuration like golf courses do. So just imagine like a rectangle and each part of the rectangle having 100% coverage from one sprinkler head. So that's something that I can see automation and innovation go into in that direction. And also autonomous mowers. I know Firefly has some pretty good ones. Jacobson, Toro's working on some. Seeing autonomous mowers definitely like, especially given the labor situation in our industry, that's something I feel could be greatly improved on and just spearheaded. Just send it.
Well,
How do you think automation would change this
Hmm.
industry?
For one, um, you'd have a lot less people out there cutting grass. You wouldn't have as many operators on mowers, but instead you'd have, for example, like one person managing a section of robots, all the robots cutting the greens, fairways, approaches, roughs for like three holes, for example. And so, sort of advancing in the labor field with more having to train your employees more is definitely something that I see that can coincide with that, but also having the ability to still have that manual if something goes wrong, if a golfer runs into a mower kind of thing. So it's not fully automated, right? But it's still saving on labor.
I think they're still working on all that, right? All the different
Yeah.
testing and everything. There's so many different situations at different golf courses that they're gonna have to figure that all out. So, was that some of the stuff you guys actually learned going through school? I know it was a bit of a crash course, but was there anything you guys learned about that kind of stuff that's kind of coming up right now?
No, nothing about that was actually really taught in my classes. I've talked to a couple of my professors since, and they've kind of really liked the idea of introducing it into the class material, but mainly it's just talking with people from the industry and what I've learned on my course. And another big thing with innovation is sensors. I know there's a lot of different brands out there, but I think Syngenta just went public with Spio, and so we've had Spio. It's like little sensors that you put in your fairways, greens, rough, wherever you want, 3 inches down, and just measures moisture, EC, moisture, temperature, salinity, and it's just super neat, nice, handy to have. It definitely gives you a lot of reassurance. If you're away on a weekend or if you're out of state, you can check on your sensors and say, "Oh, 10 green isn't burning up." That's wonderful. At the same time, something we have both Turf Guard and Spio, so we have Toro and Syngenta's sensors, and seeing the difference between how the numerical values, like which one is right. We have TDRs, Turf Guards, Spios, and Turf Rads, four different kinds of sensors, and which number is right? Is it the volumetric water content from a Spio or a TDR? And so being able to decipher and discern that information is something we're still trying to figure out.
That's tough to kind of calibrate all those because none of them may be right or wrong. It's
Right.
just they're different. And again, just that calibration and trying to figure out. So I mean, it sounds like you're obviously very well versed in technology. How do you go ahead and gather all that data and then make useful decisions based on what you're seeing? How do you decipher that data and turn it into an action plan?
So one of the sensors that we have, it's called Turf Rad, and it's essentially a giant rectangle you slap on the back of a mower. Um, Super crazy contraption. But when you view the data, and it's in Task Tracker, when you view the data, it sort of creates an average of the moisture values for, let's say, your fairways. We use them on fairways and approaches right now. So let's say number one fairway has an average of 19%. Something else we've been trying to experiment with is Greenkeeper. Greenkeeper has a moisture irrigation planner, essentially, that calculates using the forecasted ET with your moisture percentage. And so if we have a moisture percentage of 19% and our ET is in the 0.3s, 0.29s, then our wilt point, which is when we should water next, is going to be very soon. So using that can kind of roughly say when we should run fairway heads, when we should run rough heads, instead of just spinning everything every night.
Really cool, man. Is there any other gadgets or things that you've picked up or played with in the last little while that that you're kind of excited about?
Yeah, so we also have a drone from Greensight, and it's a pretty funny story. You have to get a drone license from the FAA to fly the drone, but you don't ever touch a remote. The company Greensight, they do it all. You literally text buddy and he just starts flying it for you. You just sit back and watch, and it's like, why do I even have this license?
That's
You
funny.
know, it's a really awesome drone, super expensive, by the way, from what I've heard, but essentially it gives you NVDI, thermal, and high quality imaging. And so from what I found, from what we've done with the course, is that NVDI data, not really too accurate for our uses. Thermal imaging, not too accurate, but high quality pictures, high resolution pictures, very useful. Being able to see, for example, the development and progression of algae growth in our irrigation lake and ornamental lake is very nice to see that, hey, we put out 5 gallons of copper sulfate Cutrine plus a week ago, and oh my God, it's all gone. Wow. Being able to just compare and contrast high resolution images, really amazing.
Where's that fine line of data and feel?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think very good example is when you're watering greens, right? You know, you probe everything and everything's a perfect 20 to 25, and meanwhile half your green is you don't have grass on half your green. So at a point, there's your discretion is, hey, we have anthracnose on half of our greens. Can't be watering to 20 to 25 in the morning and just leave it. You know, we got to come back, hit it, or hit it with fungicide someday. Our course is very, I want to say stingent, but we fungicides are a last resort. And so for most of the summer, we've been fighting anthracnose with just a hose, coming back in the afternoon, hitting it with a hose. And so, you know, we got half orange greens and we're just out here with a hose. And at that point, you know, it's your discretion entirely whether you want to trust the soil is at 20% moisture or our greens are burning up and we got to go hit them.
I wanted to stay on this stuff right now because you're doing a great
Yeah,
job talking about your golf course.
yeah.
Is there any without stepping on any toes at your course or anything like that? But is there things that you see that you'd like to make some changes to, or if you were able to take over a property like that, would there be some things that you'd like to do?
Yeah, definitely. Big thing is kind of it's either this or that is sections. I know a lot of courses have sections, a lot of courses don't have sections. And sometimes it is nice to have one section guy take care of everything in a section. But at a point, there's too much for one person to handle. And so in my situation, I would personally love to just abolish sections, just completely throw them out the window. But at the same time, having one guy master a section can be very helpful. So that's always something that's going to be up to you and your course, your specific situation, and your crew. Another thing I would love to change is fertility inputs. I'm definitely working on creating my own fertility program and catering that to my kind of soil, my kind of grass, my kind of playing conditions, and the expectations the membership upholds.
And what about your staff or, people you've worked with? Again, being somebody that's younger in the industry, talk a little bit about the culture and some of the changes you'd like to see with, people of different age and all sorts of different people that work in turf now.
Yeah, I mean, vast majority of my crew is almost 3 times my age, and it's definitely amazing to have them around. They're super fun to joke around with. At the same time, there's a point where one of our guys pretty recently, he moved out to another course to kind of semi-retire. And there's a point where you can't be digging up sprinklers and valves and irrigation boxes and breaking your back when you're 70 years old. You know, like sometimes you just got to give it a rest and move on to more sort of the easier tasks in management, whether that be mowing or raking bunkers, something like that. And that's definitely something where there's a part of the industry where they just like to kind of toss that kind of thing at like high schoolers and college age people. And that's something that definitely I would love to see more of, getting more young people into the industry. Not so much as throwing laborious jobs at them, because I was in that point too, and I still very much am. was sort of introducing the concept of it's not just grass. There's so much more to young people. And I know there's programs out there like things like the First Green program, kind of introducing it to high school, middle school age people, and definitely being able to participate in something like that and being able to foster an environment where more young people can get out on course, whether they be golfers or not, would be just amazing.
So expand upon that if you don't mind, Derrick. I mean, we talk about the labor crisis and how challenging it is to get new people into the industry. What do you think we're not doing as an industry to attract younger people into this profession?
Hmm. Personally, I think a lot of it coming from, especially the area where I'm in, is being able to cater to a lot of the more to say woke people. People definitely a lot of people out there I know in my own area who say golf courses are a big waste of money, big waste of water, and they're all just completely trash for the environment. And being able to sort of help educate or help toss out information that, hey, we have, you know, 20 different species of endangered wildlife on our golf course, multiple acres of native grasses that, we work on drought management and all things like that. Being able to inform the masses of sorts about that and being able to teach that golf courses aren't all bad for the environment. Being able to teach that to young people, young up and comers, and being able to have sort of a bigger perspective on it.
I can say, Brian, that's not something that's come up here before. No, there are definitely opinions about golf courses and things, but yeah, that's certainly something that the younger generation is definitely awakened to. So if we can do our best to show how much we can do, even golf courses having Audubon certifications and things like that, make it very important to be able to kind of show that we're doing the right thing and our stewardship and helping the environment. So that's important. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely a lot of jobs to be had in this industry too.
Yeah, so when it comes to like podcasting and social media and stuff like that, do you see turf kind of growing? Do you see kind of more people getting on and more people sharing what they're doing to kind of highlight the industry?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, over the last few months, I've seen Turf Today is just blown up. I see a couple of reels go viral here and there, even if it's just green within our industry. But definitely being able to have more social media exposure from different turf accounts on like Instagram or TikTok, it's just amazing to see that. But also being able to have a more industry dedicated space from people who are within the industry to be able to talk more about industry specific things and reach out to other people in the industry. That's also nice. So having those two sides of appealing to newcomers, but also appealing to people who are very veteran, also already in the industry. I definitely see both of those on the come up.
Nice. We do have a lot of younger folks that listen to this podcast. Do you have any advice for anybody that's going through school right now or looking to get their AIT job or their first assistance job?
Definitely just do it. Chase your dreams and chase your passions. Don't live a life that you're gonna regret. Not every day is guaranteed, and the fact that we set an alarm for tomorrow morning every day is hope that we want to continue and that we have things to do, dreams to chase, ambitions to pursue. Just keep at it. Don't stop.
It's great. You mentioned earlier, or last question there, kind of social media's influence and impact on the industry. And I think one of the things that I've seen over the last several years is a lot of people rely upon their social media to develop their relationships within the industry. You've been in the industry for a few years, you've volunteered an event. What's kind of your take on the networking side of it, the importance of creating those relationships, and maybe the importance of developing those relationships in person versus via a digital platform?
There's definitely two sides to it, and I've experienced both. Sometimes your superintendent just randomly phones up somebody that he met 20 years ago and can just say, "Yo, what's up?" and just start asking questions, start speaking information. And at the same time, I have hundreds of people in my contacts who I don't know, I've never met, but I'm able to talk about them, about problems I have, what kind of fertilizers I should put out, what kind of herbicides I should put out, what rate. And these different people, they all have thousands and thousands times more experience than I do, more years, more experiences. And being able to draw from that and sort of having both people you know and met in person and befriended and having that side, as well as completely random people who have thousands of times more experience than you, being able to combine that into one and sort of formulate your own knowledge and decisions from that, certainly very beneficial. So, if you want, start making friends.
Networking is so big in this industry. It can really help you. And like a lot of decisions we have to make in our life, it's always good to talk to people about it and do a little research before you spend $10,000 and put something down or something like that. So
Oh yeah.
this has been really great, man. We'd love to just have a little bit of fun here at the end and ask you about your golf course. And I know you wrote down that you had some experience dodging golf balls and having some trouble with the some of the machines on the course. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. So when I was a young gun, still high school age, I may or may not have gotten quite a few mowers stuck in some very odd places.
Quite a few.
More than one, more than one.
Uh-oh.
Yep. My old mechanic Dave, he's retired now, lives on his own farm, does crazy stuff out there. Lovely guy, but it's almost every month. Hey Dave, I'm on the back of 18 tee box. I need some help. Just a little bit of creating trouble, but you know, pretty sure the video where the Dakota flipped. I'm pretty sure I sent you that picture, Adam.
That
And
was you? You were driving that?
yep, that was my first time using any kind of top dresser, and took it over a slope a little too hard, and
Whoops.
yeah, got a new side drop feature on the Dakota.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we have two amazing mechanics here, and they got it back up and running the same day. Finished our aeration not too with not too much of a delay.
Nice. And you'll
Yeah.
never make a turn that close to a bunker again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it wasn't really the bunker, it was the hill.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So,
I know better now.
Lesson learned.
Much better. Yep. Definitely getting stuck in muddy spots, wet spots. Super fun experience. Love doing it.
no,
Were
we've
you
all been stuck.
responsible for were you responsible for going back and fixing all the ruts and all that after you
Oh
get
yeah.
stuck
Oh
then?
yeah. The guys in my old course, they used to call me Pollito, little chicken. But now one of the guys, he calls me Nino Destroyer. So I'm just breaking every single piece of equipment I touch. Whether that be a Pro Gator, a PTO shaft, a Dakota. I swear it's just bad luck. Sometimes it's just bad luck,
It's just bad luck. Yeah, bad timing.
right?
We've gotten some great nicknames over the last couple episodes here between International Stud and Nino Destroyer. That's fantastic.
That's
International
good.
stuff's a good one.
And so you mentioned a little bit of Spanish there. Did you grow up speaking Spanish being in San Jose, or is that something you're learning on the golf course?
It's definitely something I've had to learn, and it's one of my, I wouldn't say biggest regrets, but I could have done better. In high school, they give you a paper to say, hey, like, what language do you want to do? And I didn't fill out. I left it blank, and I know French now.
No
So
way.
certainly not the best outcome, but still very grateful for everything French has taught me, which
That's
is nothing.
somewhat similar to Spanish, right?
Roughly, yeah. But
Yeah, along the
being
same
able to
lines.
learn from bilingual people is just amazing. At a point, I do need a translator sometimes.
You get to learn all the fun stuff on the golf course though,
Oh yeah.
and all the real world ones. So you talked earlier about getting down to Torrey and just seeing a new microclimate, new area, new way to do things. What do you see kind of in your future over the next couple of years? Do you see yourself leaving the area that you're in now? You gonna think about exploring other parts of the country?
Yeah, so our golf course is pending a renovation. The membership is voting sometime later these next few months. Renovation is going to be done by Todd Eckenrode, complete 18-hole renovation, basically brand new golf course. And if it gets passed, which it should be, It will be in about 2 years, so 2026. So for the most part, my plan for my career is to stay around until then, sort of get a crap ton of renovation experience on my hands, and from there go off to be whatever, wherever. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is somewhere out in Monterey or Tahoe, somewhere coastal. Definitely like being by the ocean.
Somewhere
Certainly
nice.
don't have it as bad as some people in the Imperial Valley who have 120-degree days every day growing KBG, which I know a few, or Palm Springs, but just not my type of circus. Too hot over there.
I think that's a good plan. You'll get a ton of experience doing the renovation. There'll be a lot of things you get to get your hands on and get involved with that you don't even know about yet. So I think
Oh, yeah.
that's a really good plan, man. And you'll still be so young too in a few years. You'll have your whole life ahead of you. So bright career for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like right now we're doing a tee box renovation on our driving range. So I'm just watching these people just mob around, and I'm already learning so much from what they're doing with the tee box. So essentially, we had a two-stage tee box, and they're flattening and pulling it back 20 so yards, and just learning that process, seeing it, and eventually we'll be the ones to grow it in. So definitely a good little intro to renovation right there.
That's awesome. So anything else you want to anything you want to chat about or promote here before we wrap things up?
So definitely something I found that's, I guess some people have mixed opinions about it, but having like earbuds in at work is something that I found quite interesting from people who say you shouldn't at all, because I find it quite useful because most of the time in the morning I'm listening to the one and only Travis Shattuck's Turfgrass Epistemology, amazing podcast. He essentially delves into how do we know what we know? Why are we putting out this fertilizer? Why are we using this product? So and so. And he breaks down the science behind it. Amazing soil scientist. And a lot of times I'm just learning while I work. I'm learning while I'm learning, learning squared, right? And being able to learn from podcasts, learning about base cation saturation, paste fertility, paste extract, different forms of soil testing, and being able to apply it literally the next day, looking through my soil tests and being able to see that it's an amazing correlation. And it's something that I think more people should do.
It's something we definitely promote because we want to be able to help. That was one of the reasons we started the show, is because there's so many hours spent on the course and on mowers and things. So why not have something to listen to and to have some fun? And yeah, when you talk about Travis Shaddix there, he's in a whole other world in turf today. He's getting right into the science, he's right into the soil and stuff. So yeah, another fantastic show for people to listen to. And as long as you're paying attention on the course and you're able to, hear your machines and things like that, I don't see why listening to something on the course doesn't help you succeed. Learning squared, man. I'm gonna have to use that myself. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But no, this has been great, Derek. We appreciate you coming on today. I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot about some of the stuff coming up in the industry, and it's always great getting to talk to somebody a little bit younger and kind of an up and comer. So we definitely appreciate you giving us your time today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys. It's amazing talking to you guys.
Yeah, great to meet you, Derek. So all the best to you and your future success.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Adam.
No problem, man. Hopefully we catch up soon. Okay.
Yep. Bye. See ya.
Take
All
care.
right, see you, Derek.